Okay, we're gonna call this the day 44 review because I did 2 day 34s and that got all everything whacked out. Anyway, we actually got up and got out of here at a decent time this morning. Still in Montrose, the same Red Arrow Inn, I think it is, here on US 50, and rolled out 8:45. I mean, got to be a record for us. Gassed up, headed south out of town on Dave Wood Road, which kind of runs at the base of the Uncompahgre Plateau edge. It starts out really, really nice pavement because there's a lot of really nice homes out there now. It used to be a lot more dirt, but it becomes dirt a little ways outside of town. Then it's just real fun dirt and gravel, beautiful woods, and the dirt is manicured, hard packed, wide, goes through the national forest. Eventually it drops out on Highway 62. So you don't have to go down 50 and get to Ridgeway and turn right and go through all the traffic, construction, all that. And just a really nice ride. Sarah had a good time with it. At least, you know, every time I got it behind her and was following her, she was running really good lines. The very last couple corners were really steep, pretty tight, and then just dumped you right on the highway, right at a stop sign. And got through that without any problem, got stopped. We had talked about doing Last Dollar Highway right then and there, but Sarah didn't really feel like it, which turned out to be a good thing. So we continued west on 62 to 145 and turned to go through Placerville and Saw Pit over to Telluride. Got to Telluride, and it's a beautiful ride. I mean, the trees are really starting to change, but there's still huge patches of aspen trees on the side of the mountain that are green, even though there's huge patches that are yellow. So when the really big patches of green start changing, it's going to look amazing. Maybe another week, or if they have a really good cold snap. Once you get on the highway and you start heading up towards Lizard Head Pass, heading south towards Dolores, Rico, that area, just lots of beautiful, beautiful spots. Quite a bit of traffic. We stopped at Lizard Head Pass to take pictures in front of the sign, and a Corvette club comes running up. And 30, 40 Corvettes. They didn't really seem to have any of the older vets. Nothing older than 1980. It was all the new stuff, 40 years. But yeah, they didn't have any of the 60s and 70s, the long vets, the cool vets, none of the Stingrays and all that kind of stuff. But nonetheless, cool cars. Beautiful scenery. We ran down to Rico, got lunch at I can't remember what it's called now, Match Fire or something, Mercantile. Kind of artsy fartsy. It was actually good. Everything is local grown, homegrown, organic this, organic that. So yeah, if you're going in for a roast beef sandwich, you're not getting a roast beef sandwich. Even the ham and cheese was, once you pick all the other stuff off, the ham and cheese is pretty good. Local grown bread, blah, blah, blah. But, and kind of pricey, but it was the only place in town and we were hungry, so, whatever. We decided not to run all the way down to Dolores. We just went ahead and turned around right there in Rico and headed back. Of course, we're sitting there eating lunch and our bikes are backed up against the curb, so they stay on the side stands. And the road crew comes by and they're painting stripes on the side of the road. So 2 feet in front of our bikes, the paint truck just goes by, blowing, spraying paint everywhere. Fortunately, I think there was enough dirt on all the bikes that you can't tell. So when it washes off, any white paint that might have got on the bikes is going with the dirt. So we made the run back up over Lizard Head Pass, which is really, pretty. There's a spot, we went into Ophir and ran all the way to the backside of the town of Ophir, right to where the pass starts, or the climb to the pass, and took some pictures, and that was real pretty, but we didn't want to get into anything anywhere near that rough on our bikes, and it wasn't taking us the direction we wanted to go anyway. Came back out of Ophir, kept going towards Telluride, and then I don't remember how far it is before Telluride, but there's a road that goes down on the left and goes down towards the river and follows the bottom of the mountain back to Telluride instead of following the highway. And again, that was a really sweet, well-groomed road because there's high-dollar homes in the area. We did have to stop for some road construction because they're putting in, fiber for internet for all these high-dollar homes. But that was just a few minutes. We got around that, and that was just me and Daniel. Sarah just went ahead and ran on into town, and we caught up with her. The last 2 miles, 3 miles, they put down a bunch of that small grain gravel that's, it's not even parking lot size gravel that they might use to pave a parking lot. It's really tiny gravel, like marbles, little ball bearings, and they laid it on thick, deep. So every corner you're like, grinding through it, trying not to slide the bike and everything else. And finally got back to the highway, a little on the west side of Telluride, and got out of there, and then found Sarah and hooked up, stopped for some drinks and Gatorade, and then we ran through Telluride. Back towards Black Bear Pass, Imogene, the backside of town up in the canyon. And apparently Black Bear Pass is out of commission. There's been 3, maybe 4 landslides that have taken out all the top switchbacks that are right below the steps that you go down. Anybody who's been down this, they'll know what we're talking about. You can still get up to the point where it becomes one-way only, because normally when the pass was open, you could only run it from east to west. You could drive up the west side, but you could only go up just below the powerhouse, which is actually a power generation facility up on a cliff where the water runs over. So you can ride up that far, but we didn't want to ride up that far. It was kind of rough. So we took our pictures, pretty trees changing, turned around. Sarah just got back on 145 and 62 and 50 and just ran all the way back to Montrose. Daniel and I peeled off and ran the Last Dollar Highway. And the first, 4 or 5 miles of Last Dollar Highway is super smooth, wide. They put that chemical on it that makes the dirt stick together, like no dust, a little bit of tiny gravel, a lot of fun. Epic scenery, incredible homes. And then you get to this parking lot area on the side of the mountain. And off to one side of the parking lot, you just see this 2-track thing going up into the woods. It goes maybe 75 feet and makes a sharp left. And then once you make that sharp left, it's game on. And it was pretty rough. There were some Jeeps ahead of us. We let them go because we didn't want to run up behind them and then have to wait. There was a dude behind me in some kind of 2-door sports coupe, something, whatever. And I was like, hey, you probably don't want to do this. He's like, it's a rental. It's like, okay, you're being warned. So I took off and got through some pretty rough stuff, pretty steep. One climb in particular, started walking back to get, video of Daniel coming up. And as you see Daniel coming up the hill, you see that car at the bottom of the hill, and he's doing like a 10-point turn around, trying to get turned around to get back out of there because it got really rough. And, we eventually come out of the woods, and then there's just this long up the side of the mountain climb, and we'd caught up to the Jeeps, and some cars were coming down. So we got to a spot that was relatively flat where we could stop and catch our breath, because it's work throwing a GS up a mountain like that. Eventually cleared all that, and then you clear the summit and you start dropping down a little bit, and just past the summit there's this spot where it's like, out of the Lion King, where they hold the new cub up, to show them to everybody. It's this pinnacle rock that you can ride up to the top of, and it's the width of a Suburban, and that's it. There's no real room to turn around. It's off camber slope, loose rock. I thought for sure Daniel was going to want to ride up this thing and take a picture, and he saw that and was like, nope. I was like, you sure? He's like, nope, don't even try it. And there was a Suburban parked up there, and it was taking up the entire thing, and they had to back down. They were sliding and everything else. And it's a sheer drop on right, left, and if you overshoot, it's a long way down. So we walked up there, took some pictures and stuff, and had some fun, and then had to pass some Jeeps again that we had already passed once before. They didn't stop for the overlook, which we were kind of disappointed. But they were cool. I mean, when you roll up behind them, they see you sitting back there in the dust, being patient, and they pulled over and they let us go by. And then you get to this section towards the, I won't say it's the bottom, but it's before the road really opens up and gets wide. You can see forever. Really narrow. I don't know what kind of weed, bush, whatever you want to call it. It's 12 feet tall or so. Comes right up to the edge of the road. It's a 1-lane road. Blind corners everywhere. Ruts everywhere. Rocks everywhere. And people come through there in their cars. and their SUVs or whatever, and they're booking it, and Daniel was leading. I'm like, dude, keep your eyes peeled. And sure enough, we come around the corner, and there's a dude that fortunately cranked it over for us right quick. But and got someone bugging us here. What's he want?
Like 150-ish.
They're about 150s, 160, something like that a night.
150, 160.
For a double queen. Yeah, for a double queen. So anyway, back to the story. We get around this guy, and then it finally opens up, and beautiful scenery, and we run back to the highway, and Daniel's like, oh my God, that was the best road ever. Let's turn around and do it again. I'm like, no. It's like, I don't have the energy to do that again, you know, or the time. So, yeah, that was weird. So anyway, we decided to go ahead and run back that Dave Wood Road, whatever it was, that we ran out this morning. And it was a lot of fun. I mean, we were obviously running a little bit quicker pace, and Sarah wasn't running with us. But, you know, you had to be on your toes, because that loose gravel on some of the corners, these sharp 90-degree corners with this really loose gravel, and the bike just wants to slide. And then you're coming out of the corners, it's that crazy washboard again. So I finally just hammered it. Lifts the front end over the washboard. The back end pretty much eats it up. The problem is you're going a little quick if there's another corner coming up. So I could only do that on certain corners where I had long straightaways where I could, you know, see what was coming. Yeah, on the stuff where it was you know, you're just kind of wiggling through the wood. That it didn't do any good there. So anyway, we got back to town. Sarah's at the Walmart. I'd called her. She's like, we'll just meet you at Walmart and go get dinner instead of going back to the hotel, getting off the bikes, and then trying to get dinner. Get to the Walmart, can't find her anywhere. She's not answering her phone. She's not responding to texts, you know, and then the whole dad thing kicks in. You're like, okay, should I be like starting to worry now? You know, because she normally answers that phone quick or responds to a text quick. I mean, she's a girl, you know, 19 years old. Well, she's in the Walmart, and the phone reception in this town is ridiculous. The internet in this town is ridiculous. I mean, I can have 3-4 bars, whatever, 5G, and it takes forever to upload anything. The whole town's that way. Phone service is terrible. Anyway, just texting people. We're sitting at Applebee's having dinner, and I'm trying to text my wife, and it's like, no, it ain't going through. All right, maybe this is like a Verizon town. We got AT&T. So anyway, had a good dinner. Got back to the hotel. Actually, Sarah and I went and got ice cream. There's a place nearby here that does pizza and ice cream, and we had a really cool couple there, Sharon and Gary Eshelman. And no C, it's just ESH. But talked to them for a while. They locals here. He used to do hazmat stuff for the state of Colorado, you know, working wrecks and accidents and stuff. And just visit with them for a while we're chugging down our ice cream, and they were having pizza, and they said the pizza at this place is really good. They come there every Wednesday night for like a date night and get pizza, so that was kind of cool. And now we're just kind of hanging out at the hotel waiting to see if Daniel will ever get out of this freaking shower. And worse than a girl takes these hour showers, you know, hour and a half showers. But anyway, we got some GSs parked out here. We haven't figured out who they belong to yet. One of them looks like about a 2015-16 real pretty blue one with paper plates from Oregon. And the other one looks like the same generation as mine, like maybe a 17, 18, 19, still a 1200, not a 1250. And he's got Arkansas plates, so I don't know if maybe they did a flying ride, you know, buy and ride kind of thing. Yeah, they're probably in bed. They got street tires, you know, they're probably knocking out 500 miles a day instead of 150 or 200 like us. So anyway, it was a great day of riding. We're going to stay here in Montrose again tomorrow. Probably ride down through Urays, Silverton, Durango, get some barbecue, and then just come right back up, and probably not do any dirt at all. And then after that, I'm not real sure, probably thought about maybe running down and going over like Owl Creek Pass out of Ridgeway and coming out on 50 east of Montrose, and then doing, I think it's County Road 25 that cuts back down towards Lake City and Powderhorn, and then there's another road, I can't remember what it's called, that runs down behind Powderhorn and comes out on top of Slumgullion Pass, and then you can go back to Lake City, or you can go on down to Creed or wherever. I haven't figured out where we're going to stay after we leave here though, but probably 3, maybe 4 days of riding, and then we're back in Farmington. So yeah, things are wrapping up, but it's been a great trip so far. So good day. We'll let you know how it goes tomorrow. Bye.